Pope Francis? Concrete action needed against child abuse at church. Video.
I was then, I think, 7 or 8 years old, and I became the little friend of the chaplain. She said, well, come sit with me on the chair and we will read together. And then there was a kiss, and then there was another physical thing, and it came more and more. I was afraid because he told me that if I would tell my parents, I would never come as an angel in heaven. Every time when you go to church, I have to say, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my only fault. It wasn't my fault.
Everybody wants a magic bullet, a one-size-fits-all policy that's going to answer all of these questions and solve all these problems. That's not going to happen. In some cultures, if a priest is accused, rightly or wrongly, of having sex with another man or with a boy, he could be taken out and killed. In other cultures, he could be vindicated. This is not so much a clergy sex abuse scandal anymore as it is a leadership crisis, a bishop accountability crisis. The first thing the Pope needs to do is implement policies for holding bishops accountable when they cover up or conceal abuse by their priests.
The child in me is now ready not to be a part of it anymore. As long as the church is not speaking my language, I cannot be part of it. They are standing there and they are talking in a language of hundreds of years ago. They have to listen to what people feel, what people want. They have to talk in the language of today.
Pope Francis has said the world expects concrete measures to tackle child sexual abuse by priests and not only simple and obvious condemnations. At a summit to discuss the scandals that have rocked the Roman Catholic Church, he said the cry of the little ones seeking justice had to be heard. Details of sexual abuse have emerged across the world and the Church has been accused of covering up crimes. Survivors say new safeguarding protocols are needed to protect minors. The unprecedented 4-day summit at the Vatican is being attended by the heads of all national bishops' conferences from more than 130 countries. The Vatican has tried to reduce expectations with the Pope previously saying the conference, called Protection of Minors in the Church, represented only the beginning of the conversation. The 82-year-old pontiff is under serious pressure to provide leadership and generate workable solutions to what is the most pressing crisis facing the modern Church. The holy people of God look at us and await from us not simple and obvious condemnations, but concrete and effective measures to put into place. Concreteness is required, he said in a short opening statement. I ask the Holy Spirit to support us in these days and to help us to transform this evil into an opportunity for awareness and purification. May the Virgin Mary enlighten us to try to cure the serious wounds that the scandal of pedophilia has caused both in children and in believers. By Martin Bashir, BBC Religion Editor. Pope Francis must confront the assumptions, attitudes and practices that have allowed a culture of abuse to flourish. The extent of this challenge may prove overwhelming. This is only the beginning of an attempt to address a sickness that has been poisoning the Church since at least the 1980s, leaving its moral authority in tatters. The focus is now firmly fixed on Pope Francis, who leads an organization with more than 1.2 billion adherents, present in virtually every country on earth. His pontificate began with widespread enthusiasm for a man who chose pastoral appeal over pomp and ceremony, humility and compassion over the trappings of status. But how it ends is likely to depend on the action he takes, and the protocols he implements, to deal with the scourge of abuse. Pope Francis called for decisive action on the issue when he was elected in 2013, but critics say he has not done enough to hold to account bishops who allegedly covered up abuse. Thousands of people are thought to have been abused by priests. Observers argue that implementing universal protocols is challenging because the Church exists in a range of cultures and judicial systems. Although progress has been made in some countries, in other places it is still not considered to be a priority. Some churches in Asia and Africa, in particular, even deny the problem exists. Archbishop of Manila Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle told the summit clerical abuse took place because of a misuse of power. But many, including conservative critics of Pope Francis, challenge this view and believe homosexuality is the real root cause of the abuse. As the event started, one of its 4 organizers, Archbishop of Mumbai Oswald Gracias, one of the church's most senior cardinals, admitted that he could have better handled allegations that were brought to him. Some groups of survivors have voiced skepticism that any concrete action will be taken during the event, calling it a publicity stunt aimed at cleansing the image of the Church.